Hello everyone, it's me, Travis, with another JTI game. This time we have two competitors, Shane Richardson playing the purple Terran in the top left corner of the screen, and we got Jay Rizzy, Jay Rags, Jeremy Ragsdale playing in the bottom left corner as Protoss. Now guys, I have some very fun and interesting facts about both these players. Let me spit some of those hot facts to you right now. So, let's start with saying, dun dun dun, both of these guys are technically my brother. We got my maternal, paternal, and lifelong brother here as the purple Terran, Shane, my legitimate biological brother. Down in the bottom left corner in brown, the Protoss, Jay Rizzy, is my brother-in-law. That's right, I married into the Rizzy family. I married into the Ragsdale family. So it's kind of like brother versus brother in a sense. More so Travis brother versus Travis brother. So this is a very sad game that I'm going to be watching because I'm torn between two of my favorite people in the world battling out against each other. I'm not going to say who my favorite is. You know, I'm not going to say it because that would be a bias on a commentator perspective. But it's going to be an interesting game, ladies and gentlemen. Another fun fact about this is, like everyone in this tournament, they haven't been playing too often or for too long. You know, these people haven't been playing StarCraft in 15, 20 years, so they're extremely, extremely rusty at this point. Now, J-Rags, you know, at this point in the tournament, he probably is the least veteran out of everyone involved. Back in the day, we all played StarCraft. We all had StarCraft in our blood, in our bones. But J-Rags didn't. He wasn't a person that played StarCraft all too often. So he is relatively new to the scene. Now, what J-Rags is doing is building, I believe, two pylons here. One has already been completed and he's built an assimilator. He doesn't have anyone currently mining Vespian gas, so currently his Vespian gas production is nil. But J-Rags, what he is going to probably be doing is building a mass of Dragoons. And Dragoons, we all know, can attack air, can attack ground. They're kind of like the master of everything, the master of none at the same time. They're not so great that they're the de facto air-to-air unit, ground-to-air unit, and they're not the de facto ground-to-ground unit. They're just a master of kind of all art forms, but also a master of none at the same time. Shane, on the other hand, has built a barracks, going into an engineering bay, getting those necessary upgrades that he's looking for. He's sitting down a Marine to scout, which is exactly what he needs to do. Shane is actually pretty decent at this game, and he's a hot contender to actually win this entire thing. You know, a lot of people said that Shane is a lower tier player. That has been argued before, and that was argued in some of the interviews with some of the other players. There's some bad blood out there, and I will touch on that a little bit later on. But some people threw out that Shane is a lower tier player. However, I think that Shane is one of the hottest members to win this particular tournament. He's on fire. And he's going to give people that underestimate him a run for his money. J-Rags, on the other hand, he has strategies. He's hiding this gateway up here in the top left corner. Very interesting strategy. Building a gateway down here as well, making sure that his ramp is covered and vision is properly adjusted for. He doesn't want any drops to come over here unnoticed. So J-Rags is building a gateway up here and a gateway down here. Shane is trying to scout out on all directions where J-Riz will be stationed. Right now he has a Marine sitting here, hasn't quite made it up the ramp. It looks like he is going up the ramp now. J-Rags doesn't have any zealots, any defense. He does have probes, which do actually work pretty well against these probes. So Shane's in here doing a substantial amount of damage to our boy J-Riz. And he's probably going to get a probe kill, but you can see how much that probe did damage to that one Marine. You see, two probes take out one Marine. It ain't nothing. But Shane did get a probe kill, which means that it was worth it. Because one Marine killing one probe is worth the mining time that one probe could generate. I believe each mineral that is taken from the mineral patch to the Nexus or command center or hatchery, I think that's 25 minerals. So if you stop one probe from producing mining time, I mean, that Marine is worth 50. You probably stop that probe from mining 200 to 250 minerals for Jay Rizzy, especially since he's not producing any more probes from his Nexus. Shane is pulling his Marines up here. 2 Marines is actually a little bit more detrimental, but he does have a Dragoon coming out this time. The Dragoon is being produced from this gateway down here. A lot of Dragoons are being produced. 2 Dragoons are being produced from this gateway down here. Shane is just vicious. Look at him coming in here on J-Rags's mineral line, just killing so many probes. These guys have already, their value is actually so good. They've already killed 3 to 4 probes right now, working on the assimilator, taking down J-Rags's much needed gas production. Because these Dragoons, they're not going to pay for themselves. This guy needs to come over here and save his probes. Shane is harassing the hell out of J Swagsy right now. Let's see what J Swags can actually do to prevent this. A few Dragoon shots. This one Dragoon can definitely take out these Marines, but these Marines, they're worth their weight in gold, though. They've done what they need to do, ladies and gentlemen. They've taken out the entire probe line, rendering and J Rags is attacking his own Nexus. He's pissed. He's disappointed with what these Dragoons are doing. I'm going to be very interested. Okay, so Jeremy stopped attacking his own Nexus enough to actually produce from it. So that's actually good. We'll see what Shane's up to. Has 3 factories. And Shane loves his siege tanks. Shane loves his mech units. Just like Patrick Steele in the previous game, Shane is all about producing vultures and siege tanks. Vulture play is extremely difficult to master. These vehicles only have 80 health. They do as much damage as a Dragoon does. A Dragoon does 20 damage. The Vulture, however, can't attack air. That's the thing. You think they would if the Vultures, they're actually, if you can't tell, the Vultures are actually people on a mechanized bike, kind of like a motorcycle. You would think that they'd be able to attack air if they, just like pop a little wheelie and then start shooting their grenades at the sky. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Vultures are subservient to being on the ground. It looks like Shane is doing a very interesting move here, building a turret. That's going to prevent any fast DTs getting up into his base. This bunker has 3 Marines, which is actually a pretty good defense, and it actually might get a little bit more. Oh, Shane is... Oh, these Dragoons are moving out. Let's see what J Swags has to do here. These Vultures don't stand a chance against 5 Dragoons, and I think they're going to go down right here. Shane moves his slow-moving Vulture out of the way. He hasn't actually upgraded Vulture speed because he is currently working on Vulture Spider Mines, which is pretty good. Vulture Spider Mines is value. If a Vulture can take out these Dragoons with a Spider Mine, I mean, that is so much trade. Think about this, guys. People think Vultures are such a bad unit, and they are very difficult to control, but a Vulture is 75 minerals. That's it. No gas. 75 minerals. And if you upgrade the Spider Mines, that's 100 minerals, 100 gas. So you got 3 Spider Mines per Vulture. Now, if those Spider Mines could take out, 1, 2 Dragoons, you know how much a Dragoon costs? A Dragoon costs 125 minerals, I believe, and 50 gas. That's a lot, especially in the early game. If a Spider Mine can take out a Dragoon, 1 Dragoon, 2 Dragoons, 3 Dragoons, think of the value that the 75 mineral cost unit has actually cost. The value is immense if you could actually take out some units with Spider Mines. And that's why the Vulture, while it seems so puny and it doesn't do a lot of damage and it shoots very slowly, the Spider Mines are actually the bread and butter of this unit. And if you could take down units with it, with those Spider Mines, I mean, they're just worth values. These Marines and these Firebats have to run back. They're no match for 5 Dragoons. J-Rags knows that this is going to be a funny little matchup. He's not going to lose 1 Dragoon, but Shane's going to lose 3 Marines, 2 Firebats, and maybe even more than that. Look at this. Shane is throwing down some Spider Mines. Very, very clever. We're going to try to watch to see if any more units get caught up in this. Shane is just a sneaky little mastermind back here, pulling the puppet strings, waiting for Dragoons to get caught in these Spider Mines. And not only do these Spider Mines I think they do 125 damage. Yes, they do. 125 damage down here, ladies and gentlemen. You can see they do a ton of damage. A ton. Almost, if 2 Spider Mines hit these Dragoons, they're dead. And they do splash damage. So not only are they going to be pulled into these Dragoons, but they're going to do splash damage to all these other Dragoons. 125 splash damage. Oh, Look, J-Rags is trying to expand to this expansion up here, but Shane, with his tricky vulture play, is not going to let him. This vulture, oh, look at him. He sees Shane's scouting has been phenomenal. Look at him shooting a dragoon. Just, oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. He's luring him in. Oh, but the dragoon has range, so it can be very difficult for the dragoon to actually get caught up in the spider mine. Oh, Shane, is he going to catch this probe right here? He has been so phenomenal with scouting with this one vulture. And like I was saying, guys, before I was interrupted, these vultures actually act as very good scouting mechanisms. Shane's going to know when probes come out here. He's going to know when additional dragoons come over here. But we've been looking at these spider mines for too long. This is an excellent line for J-Rags right here. While he's a novice, this lineup right here looks phenomenal because nothing can sneak by. No vultures can get by without getting shot a million times by these dragoons right here. Very, very good dragoon placement from the old J Rizzy. So he's got some pretty good. He needs more Stargates, in my opinion, and he needs more expansions, which he's actually doing over here. This is a pretty bad position for this Nexus. He wants to really build it right here, but he is building another pylon, maybe kind of walling this off. So it's harder and more difficult, more challenging for units to actually get up here. And then the Dragoons can come around here and stop any units trying to funnel into J Rizzy's base. Shane himself is getting an expansion, more so at his natural expansion. See, this is J-Rags' natural expansion down here. This is his second natural. You can see how it's kind of naturally protected. This ramp is kind of a concern. Shane has his spider mines down here. Any Dragoons getting caught right there are going to take the brunt of his damage. It looks like J-Rags is moving out with a few Dragoons. He might be able to do... Nope, he wouldn't be able to do any economical damage because look at these siege tanks on the high ground. They do such good work against Dragoons. Such good work. I mean, if a Dragoon tried to get in here, they wouldn't be able to see these siege tanks on the high ground. So they would just essentially be getting shelled. And I don't think the number of Dragoons right now for J-Rags, you know, for Jeremy is enough to actually fend off just simply 4 tanks on the high ground here. And Shane is putting up a great base defense. He needs to saturate this natural here. And J-Rags needs to saturate this natural over here as well. And that's exactly what J-Rags is doing at the moment. Sending probes over here to start mining. You would think that J-Rags is actually a professional player at this point. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Create Dragoons. Create Dragoons, fend off any harassment to the natural expansions. Shane is doing pretty good. He does, like I said, he needs to start saturating this natural, get this base working for him, because essentially what this is a 400 mineral dump. If you don't have any workers mining for you, I mean, that's all this is. It's just a 400 mineral dump that you've created for yourself. But Shane does have a lot of siege tanks, and he is protecting this very well. This is the only entrance into this base, and it is being fortified by a ton of siege tanks with +1. Siege tanks do 70 damage. With a +1 upgrade, that's an additional 5, making it 75. Any Dragoons trying to get in here, especially Dragoons not upgraded at all, are going to take a lot of damage. 3 hits from a siege tank, especially being fired by 4 siege tanks at once, is going to take down 1 Dragoon. Siege tanks, as you all know, do splash damage, just like the spider mines. So they're going to do a lot of damage, and we might be able to see a little skirmish right here. This Dragoon right here is going to go down. J-Rags is coming in with a vengeance. This is going to be one of the first attacks that J-Rags does onto Shane. We're going to see if it's effective, and it is not. I think he was able to take down 1 tank, but that's 1 tank for the value of about 4 or 5 Dragoons. 4 or 5 Dragoons. Shane is now getting this natural up and running. And J-Rags is like, hell no. Hell no, you ain't going to kill my 4 or 5 Dragoons. He needs a lot more Dragoons coming in, but I do like this push from J-Rags. I think he might be maybe right-clicking, but this is a good push. A very good push from J-Rags. I don't think this is enough Dragoons, especially with the siege tanks on the high ground, but he is definitely going to break down this bunker, probably kill these siege tanks down here, but I think it's going to be well defended by Shane. I really do not think these Dragoons are going to be able to have a fighting chance to get into Shane's base, and I don't think they're going to be able to hit this command center with these tanks on the high ground, but he was able to destroy this fortification in the front from Shane, so there is a little bit of value in that. I think if he's able to get this turret down here and put some Dragoons right here to take down this turret, I think maybe some DTs, some Dark Templars in this area might be super effective from J-Rags, because this turret right here, once this turret's down, this is the only detection that Shane has. He doesn't have a ComSat station, so he's not able to scan for Dark Templars. So I think a DT would be very effective, but I don't think a DT is in the cards for J-Riz, because he doesn't have a Citadel of Dune, which means that he can't get a Templar Archive, which produces those High Templars and Dark Templars. And I think J-Rags is more of a Dragoon man. Dragoons are a very standard unit, especially when you're kind of a, I would say kind of a novice. A novice isn't necessarily a bad thing, but a Dragoon's a very safe unit. Not very macro intensive. It can be very micro intensive if you need it to be, but it's not super micro intensive. You just kind of attack and you kind of hope for the best. But there are strategic units like the Dark Templar, which aren't great units in and on themselves, but they're able to do a substantial amount of damage if they are properly utilized. Another attack from J-Rags, and these Marines and these Fire Bats get into this bunker, and they're going to be able to defend, but I don't think it's, I mean, there's some repairing that's coming down. Shane tried to repair with these SCVs. These Marines and these SCVs are pushing back to the high ground where these tanks are going to be able to defend. The tanks are just so detrimental. This is such a good defense from Shane. Terran are so hard to break, especially with this high ground defense. That's why it's so difficult for other races, even Terran, to actually get in and defeat this lineup right here. I mean, what do? You can't, it's really hard. Oh, look at that. You heard it. Boom. Value, baby. 75 minerals. Value for a 125 mineral unit. 50 Vespian gas unit right there. I called it. Just straight up value, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you can see that, oh, look at this. I totally missed this, guys. I'm totally sorry about that. Shane has expanded to a third base, building a bunker right here. Shane knows that Jeremy's not going to come in through here. There's two ways to get into this base, because this base has two ramps. You see right here and right here. But this ramp is his second natural, going into this choke point here, which is guarded by siege tanks. Jeremy's going to have a difficult time trying to move and maneuver around. So Shane knows this is the only viable ramp that Jeremy has to come into this third expansion. Look at this. Jeremy is fierce. He wants to take down this base, but he's going to need a larger army than this. He's going to need more strategic army than this. Maybe build a few zealots, a citadel of a dune, where he can upgrade zealot legs. So the zealots are running faster. Zealot legs make zealots, I forget what it's called, like augmented legs or something like that. It makes the zealots run faster. And when you got fast zealots running in on these siege tanks and taking them down, that's exactly what you need, because zealots are tanky little units. They're tanky. Don't get the zealot down. Siege tanks can't attack once a unit gets in about right here on them. Once the unit gets in about right here. And when those zealots are on top of the siege tanks, what are the other siege tanks doing? They're shelling the other, they're friendly firing the siege tank because they got splash damage. More Dragoons are piloted in, but Shane knows supply depot to protect the bunker. Tanks just everywhere. This is not going to be good for J-Rags. He needs more units. He needs different units than just the Dragoon. Dragoons are a pretty good unit, but with siege tanks on the field, the siege tank is the Dragoon's counter. They don't do very well because the Dragoons always stay at, unless you micro your Dragoons in closer to the siege tanks, they always stay at max range. And that gives the siege tanks enough to fire back. Shane building a turret right here. He knows that siege tanks aren't good against air. So what does a turret do? A turret attacks air, protecting the siege tanks from any aerial unit that comes in here. This base needs to get saturated as siege tanks on the high ground. Perfect. Nothing currently in this bunker, but it is providing some kind of high ground movement impairing. It's impairing the movement of the high ground. So if any, these Marines are going to definitely get into this bunker, but any Dragoons that are trying to get up here, Dragoons are clunky units. So as they try to get up this high ground, this bunker alone is going to kind of mess with the AI. The Dragoons kind of get stuck right here, and then they kind of fumble around down here. Shane is able to repair this bunker. The Marines that are in the bunker are doing damage. It can be kind of a dirty play. That's why a lot of times if you put a Reaver down here and the Reaver's shooting up here, shoot a few Zealots in here and the Reaver's just firing their shots, that can be super effective. There's different type of gameplay mechanics that you can do to actually break this. Zealot drops on the high ground up here, but it's extremely difficult and very micro-intensive. I think it's definitely a wider scope than what J Rags, J Rizzy, J Swags is into. Now, Jeremy has expanded to his natural expansion, but like I said, guys, this is a 400 mineral dump down here. It's also even more because he's got an assimilator as well. Assimilator is worth 100 minerals, so this is a 500 mineral dump and nothing to show for it. Maybe even more because he's got just a probe sitting down here. That's a 50 minerals, 550 mineral dump. Nothing going on for him. He needs to start saturating this ASAP. You know, I'm guilty of it too. A lot of people are guilty of, you know, not doing this because you get kind of caught up in what you're doing. This Dragoon scouting in to see what's going on. Still siege tanks all around here. Still a ton of siege tanks. Just one upgrades. J Rags has 000 upgrades. He's not really an upgrade machine. One Marine in this bunker isn't enough to hold. Probably not. 2 Marines enter the bunker. Good for Shane. Supply depot's coming up. And what is Shane going for? 1 dropship, maybe some tricky plays going, and a science facility. A science facility opens up a lot of different tech paths, especially with the add-on. If you get a physics lab or a another, I forget the other attachment that goes on the science facility, but it goes into either battle cruisers or it goes into ghost play. So maybe some nuclear launches, you know. Shane's got his ComSat station up with 200 energy on there, so that's enough for 4 ComSat sweeps. So each ComSat sweep is worth 50 minerals, so that's pretty good. He can scout these other areas. I'm not sure if anyone's looked over here, so Jeremy hasn't exactly scouted, but he does know where Shane is. Shane could have built the base over here. Jeremy could have built the base over here, but I think these guys are satisfied enough to contain themselves in their own natural expansions. The first natural and the second natural, the first natural and the second natural. So these guys, I think, are a little bit kosher right now. Take a sip of some drink because my throat is getting a little parched with this casting. J Rags is he's still doing the Dragoon army. Dragoon's not very effective against siege tanks, and siege tanks are all over the place here. Like I said, the Terran doesn't really need to attack. Just needs to turtle up, get some good stuff here, get some good stuff going. What else is there to say? I mean, 1 starport. I mean, Shane's got all the factories, everything that is currently support. Oh, I totally missed this. Totally missed this. Siege tank drop coming down here, ladies and gentlemen. Siege tank drop with vultures. Can Shane get this down? I think he was able to kill all the probes in this area. He's got 1 Dragoon down, but I don't think this drop is going to be effective. These dropships need to get out of here, but I don't think they're going to make it. I think he was able to kill any remaining working probes. Not a lot of minerals, so it wasn't like a big detriment to old J Riz, but it was a very interesting drop. Something did go on here. We'll see if Shane is building anything else. Oh, there it is, a physics lab, and I believe a physics lab is able to build battle cruisers. So if Shane is going the battle cruiser route, that could definitely be the hammer that finishes off J Rizzle. So J-Rags has to scout this out. I mean, the starport is very, very high up here, and J-Rags hasn't even been able to break this front line. And I think Shane knows that. But what's a very tricky unit, and a unit that's very good, is an observer. An observer is an invisible scouting unit for the Protoss, which J-Rags is. If he can get an observer up here to see what's going on, he can move an observer in here. But Shane, he knows that an observer might be coming. He's got turrets here, turrets here, turrets here, turrets here. So, I mean, an observer can get in right here and slip in. But, I mean, maneuvering around these turrets that are all over the place right here is going to be a very difficult task for any observer. And that takes a lot of micro. I mean, that takes a lot of micro to slip an observer in here to see what's going on. I mean, a Corsair could also do the job, just doing a really fast sweep. A Corsair is a very fast unit. Maybe just take a look and see what's going on. But J-Rags hasn't produced anything but Dragoons. And like I said, a Dragoon is a very safe unit. It's a very safe unit. Not a lot of micro needs to go into it. Not very micro intensive. Shane is building one Valkyrie. And a Valkyrie is an he's building two Valkyries. He'll have two Valkyries on the field in just a second, building an additional starport, maybe going battlecruiser route like I was talking about. Some Firebats down here. So, some Firebats, for whatever reason, are being produced. Firebats not the best against Dragoons, but very good against Zealots. Very good against just really Zealots. I mean, that's really the only thing you would want to build a Firebat for against a Protoss. Two Valkyries reporting. I'm not sure why these guys are here. Possibly to ward off any type of observers, or maybe Corsairs. You know, Corsairs are very. You know what? I'm not even sure if Corsairs are very effective against battlecruisers. Battlecruisers have a lot of armor, a lot of HP. And Corsairs are very good against like Mutalisks, things that have low HP, things that clump up. Battlecruisers, while they kind of clump up a little bit, they're kind of they're spread far enough, I think, where the Corsair splash damage don't do as nearly as much damage as that they intend to. But these Valkyries might be in preparation for some kind of Corsair, some kind of scout. We do have a battle coming down here. A lot of Dragoons just got slaughtered by siege tanks. I don't think there is any siege tanks that went down. 1 kill on this guy. 3 kills on this guy. Hero. Master Sergeant. Oh wait, these are all Master Sergeants. Look at the kills on these guys. 3 kills, 1 kill. You know, 4 or 5 kills? Good lord, how many of these guys? 9 kills? Ooh, this guy's the MVP of the siege tank army. This guy's Sergeant Hammer, baby. Right there. Look at that. That guy's proud. He's safe too. He's on the high ground. No one's going to mess with him. So this guy's kind of a legend up here. Sergeant Hammer. Shane, being sneaky, getting a 4th expansion up. If he is indeed going battlecruisers, vehicle weapon upgrade coming, if he is indeed going battlecruisers, he's going to need that additional resource because he is currently mined out of his main base. These SCVs aren't doing anything. Maybe you can pull the SCVs here or down here, but currently they're not really doing anything. Maybe he's going to transfer some of the SCVs over here. J-Rags having an army of Dragoons chilling right here, ready for the attack. We're going to see what happens. Shane is slowly waddling out with siege tanks, building turrets to protect these siege tanks, which have no anti-air ability. But it's just been Dragoons. But it's smart to build these guys right here because it is anti-air. Plus the guess what? Turrets are, say it with me, ladies and gentlemen, detectors. They see invisible units, DTs. If Dark Templars come in here, they will be spotted. That's what these turrets are used for. Very, very effective. Just very, very effective units or buildings in general. Very effective structures. A lot of Dragoons here. J-Rags has not stopped producing Dragoons, and he shouldn't. He needs to move these Dragoons up here with the rest of those Dragoons. I mean, that could be an effective army. Maybe, like I said, siege tanks are Dragoons' natural counter. So it's going to be very, very difficult. It looks like the Yamato cannon. The Yamato cannon is being upgraded on the battle cruisers. No battle cruisers are being produced yet, I don't think. Oh, 2 battle cruisers are being produced from the Shane Klops. He's got Valkyries, which are excellent anti-air units, going to be able to protect any battle cruisers against Corsairs or Scouts. I think Scouts are more of the natural counter to the battle cruiser because they are very effective anti-air units. Corsairs are anti-air units too, but I just think the Scout, when it comes to battle cruisers, are just so much more effective. So the Yamato cannon is being upgraded. The Apollo reactor is being upgraded. J-Rags is shuttling his Dragoons down from the main base, creating a gigantic army. The Dragoons have been caught by the siege tank fire. He needs to start attacking because these Dragoons are going to go down. The famous Goliath has entered the battlefield. Goliath online is what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. The Dragoons are coming in here for a small little skirmish, but these siege tanks are spread out enough. and they do so much damage. They're upgraded with 2, which means they do 80 damage to these Dragoons, effectively almost one-shotting them. So these Dragoons aren't going to do a lot of damage, and Shane is slowly pushing out onto the map. Valkyrie's looking for some units to kill, but they're not going to really find anything. Dragoons are attacking into this army, but the siege tanks, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, are so effective against these guys. Fire bats guarding the front line. These fire bats are going in, maybe? No, they're pushing back, holding the position here. So many Dragoons have just perished, and Shane is doing a slow push onto Jeremy's third. This base is not saturated yet, but Shane has supply depots here. This is kind of his supply depot graveyard in this area. More turrets coming down. Slow Terran push. The crawl from the Terran army pushing into this expansion right here. You know, it's a very interesting game to watch. It's a slow crawl, like a fungus, like a mold, seeping into the interior cracks of your house, or taking down a beautiful redwood tree. You know, the Protoss is a beautiful, beautiful race. You know, very, very spectacular, like a redwood tree. But then you got the slow moving fungus, mold, decaying, consuming the redwood from the inside. That's what's happening, spreading, getting ever closer to its target. That's what's going on right here, ladies and gentlemen. Shane Klops is the mold, and Jeremy needs some kind of prevention, some kind of antibiotics, some kind of anti-mold prevention to stop the push from coming in to his base. What is this? More starports. Shane is going to start pumping out the battle cruisers, which are already upgraded by 1. These guys have so much health, and they do so much damage. Dragoons are pretty good against battle cruisers in a big army, you know, in a big mass. But Dragoons get worn down, especially if battle cruisers hang around like areas like this. They can push back to the siege tank line. Shane is going to start doing a mass production of siege tanks. That's what's up in this secret base. J-Rags can send a few Dragoons over here. If he's able to send his Dragoon army around here and up this base and attack this is undefended. Unmobilizing these siege tanks right here, it's a difficult task. And moving these guys out and repositioning them up here, you know, it would be a hard task for Shane to accomplish. Valkyrie's down here, hanging out, you know, ready for maybe drop ships to come around. If a drop ship was to shuttle over here, it'd be over. Like a shuttle coming down there. Valkyries are going to take that down. Shane doing a little scout with some Marines and fire bats, killing 1 Dragoon. What Shane is doing right now is probably freeing up a little bit of supply. A lot of fire bats, a lot of Goliaths right here. There's nothing that J-Rags is going to be able to do to get into this siege tank line. This is completely locked down right now. We're going to see what happens with these battle cruisers. I'm very interested to see the production that's going down. Shane currently doesn't have... He's using his minerals and his Vespian gas very effectively. You can see that he doesn't have any minerals. While he does have a lot of bases, he has technically 4 bases, three of which are mining bases. He doesn't have a lot of units because... I mean, he's built so many starports, but he doesn't have enough money to actually produce from the starports. He's already got 4 battle cruisers over here, or 5 battle cruisers, sorry. And he's producing 2 more over here, so he's going to have a total of 7. Valkyrie's just coming in here, just seeing what's going on, getting a scout on. Valkyries can be decent scout units, not necessarily the best. You know, I don't think the best units for scouting. I think a science vessel is a little bit faster, maybe. I'm not 100% sure on that. And a Wraith can cloak, so, you know, they can just scoot around, especially with no detection from old J-Riz. So that's interesting. But these siege tanks are in such good position that no Dragoon army is going to be able to bust this down. No amount of Dragoons are going to be able to bust this down, especially with no upgrades on those Dragoons. Valkyries are... Oh man, look how well Shane is upgrading. He's doing what? He's going for level 3 ship weapons, I think. So he's going to have a lot of damage from these battlecruisers. They're already... Where are the battlecruisers? All over here. Chilling. Any battlecruisers? None. No battlecruisers. I'm going to be very interested to see this battlecruiser army versus the Dragoon army. Because, like I said, Dragoons don't do terribly against battlecruisers. It's not like a horrible thing. The thing with battlecruisers is they're able to get into, like, weird areas, like right here around the high ground and kind of, like, siege from this distance. Here comes a slow, meandering siege tank push from the old Shanklops. This has to be kind of goading these Dragoons into attacking him. He's like, hey, baby, shaking his little booty over here, like, you want a little piece? You want a little piece of this, a little piece right here? Ah! And that was it. Legendary plays by that, by that SCV, but he went down kind of embarrassingly. Shane sending some Goliaths, doing a slow siege tank push over here, taking out these Goliaths, taking out the Goliaths en masse. It's so difficult for Goliaths to actually take down siege tanks. I think what J-Riz needs is upgraded Zealots with speed to come in here and do a ton of damage. Just get in here and just roast the siege tank line. This is such a difficult. He's doing what he needs to do, get close to these siege tanks so they don't do damage, but it's for naught. Oh, these Goliaths might go down though. If J-Rat, he is protecting this natural expansion of his, but it is getting mined out. I'm not sure how much it's worth it. Is losing an entire fleet of Dragoons worth taking this down? Well, oh, where's our dude? Where's our dude with 9 kills? He's a legend. Where is he? Where is he? I don't know where he is. Is he dead? Did he die? I'm going to say that's the dude. I don't know. He's got to be in this army somewhere. Maybe he's already dead, though. Dragoon is... J-Rags is funneling his Dragoons back up here, but it's for naught. I don't think this is enough Dragoons. These siege tanks don't even have to siege up right now. Shank can get rid of these, you know, he could free up some supply here. The battlecruisers are moving out. He does have about 9 battlecruisers, I believe, moving out onto the map. And that's going to be super, super difficult for the J-Rizzle to deal with because these battlecruisers are moving out to this area onto the map. Very difficult for J-Rags to defend. He's going to have a siege tank push defending against, coming up on this natural right here. He's also going to have a battlecruiser army possibly coming up on this natural over here. So can J-Rags do it? It's going to be very, very challenging to do a 2-pronged defense. He's got a northern front. Sorry, he's got a northern front, and he's also got an eastern front to deal with. He doesn't know about these battlecruisers yet, I don't think. He's going to have a very difficult time defending against this, in my personal opinion. Shay needs to siege these guys so they do their max amount of damage. These Goliaths are coming around. I'm not sure what they're doing. Maybe trying to defend the battlecruisers who are currently chilling in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, not moving out currently. Dragoons are getting a little bit frisky, saying, hey, we want a little bit of blood. They're not going to be able to take out this well-positioned siege tank army per usual. These fire bats are going to probably die here. This is the thing with Shane, though. He's not a medic boy. He's got a medic over here, but he ain't a medic boy. Siege tank's pushing out. Look how fast that they take down those Dragoons. This is an excellent push from Shane, being backed up by these Goliaths. Let's see if Shane is able to push back right here and siege up. The battlecruisers are finally moving out, ladies and gentlemen. And they're coming into this base. Let's see if they siege up. They do, and I think they're going to do a lot of damage here, because there currently is no Dragoons down here to defend against this. And I think this is just going to supplement what the battlecruisers are going to be able to do. I mean, this is going to be a very, very difficult thing for J-Rags to defend against. He doesn't have that many Dragoons anymore. 3 Dragoons, a few Dragoons over here. But these battlecruisers are going to do a ton of damage. I think this isn't enough Dragoons to deal with these battlecruisers, because remember, these battlecruisers are upgraded immensely. They're coming in. Oh, Shane's right-clicking. These Dragoons are doing a lot of damage. Look how fast these Dragoons take out, or look how fast these battlecruisers take out these Dragoons, like they were nothing. This is a devastating attack. Nothing to defend, and Shane's got the front door locked down. So anything that's going to come in here and try to stop this, Yamato cannon attacking the Nexus. Nexus is down officially. Not a lot of mining units currently for J-Rags in this particular area, but it's devastating. J-Rags currently only has one base currently working for him. He doesn't have that many Dragoons. Nothing that can actually come in here and do damage to any of Shane's bases. I don't think Jeremy knows about this base in the top right corner right now, but his main base has been devastated. And the Valkyries are coming in here and saying, yo, what's going on in here? Siege tanks moving up the ramps, and I think this might be the finishing blow that Shane is putting on J-Rags. Shane's Klops coming in here and sieging up. And I think that's all of J-Rags' actually attacking units. He's producing nothing from the gateway right now. Oh, he's got one really low health Dragoon recharging his shields. Is he going to be the hero that everyone wants him to be? No, he is not. He is not. Battle cruisers moving away. Some pylons still here. I think these siege tanks are going to clean that up pretty nicely. J-Rags doesn't have any bases currently mining for him, and this is the last one that's being shelled by Shane currently at the moment. I think J-Rags is going to tap out, give us a good GG. The game was extremely well fought, and I think J-Rags needs to change the strategy up when it comes to siege tanks. Dragoons are very, very effective units, but when they're coupled with High Templars, when they're coupled with DTs, when they're coupled with Zealots, that's when they really shine, because the Zealots are the ones that tank the blows for the Dragoons. And I think that's what J-Rags needs to learn. Couple the Dragoons with a few Zealots. You see that siege tank killing his own dude? Tragic. Tragic. I'm not sure what these battle cruisers are doing. I think they're looking for additional bases that maybe don't actually exist for J-Riz. But Shane needs to just unsiege his dudes, come in here and take it out. Take out the remainder of the base. So that's pretty much all that's been written and all there ever will be written about this. So we're going to speed this game up a little bit and kind of see what's going on, because I think it's practically over. Yeah, the siege tank is going to kill these guys. These pylons are going to probably be taken down. I think J-Rags is going to go to the bitter end. Assimilator maybe being taken. Oh, there's the GG. There's the other GG. And the game has been called, and these guys are done. What a phenomenal game from these two individuals. Shane and J-Rags Jeremy. It looks like the biological brother meet the brother-in-law this time. Two phenomenal players. Like I said, Shane has an extreme potential to win this whole thing. He's moving on. I forget who he's going to be playing in the next game, but J-Rags is going to go to the loser's bracket. He's not out if you're a J-Riz fan. He's going to the loser's bracket. He's going to play someone else. I believe he's going to be playing Patrick Steely in the loser's bracket. It's going to be a great game. Protoss v Terran. He has the ability to beat old Patrick Steely at his own wheelie games. And I hope to see you guys in the next JTI game coming out. And now we have the round 2. We're done with round 1. We're moving into round 2, ladies and gentlemen. This is when it gets good, because this is going to be winner's bracket round 2. We're going to see what happens. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next game. Peace.